The vast expanse of space had always held mysteries, but none as profound as the day Earth received its first alien visitors. It was a warm summer evening when the skies above New York City lit up with an otherworldly glow. People stopped in their tracks, necks craned upwards, as a massive ship slowly descended from the clouds. At first, panic gripped the city. Cars screeched to a halt, their horns blaring in a chaotic symphony. Children clung to their parents, wide-eyed with a mix of fear and wonder. But as the ship hovered silently above Central Park, a strange calm settled over the crowd. World leaders scrambled to respond. The United Nations called an emergency meeting, while military forces around the globe went on high alert. News channels broadcast non-stop coverage, their anchors struggling to find words to describe the unprecedented event. As dawn broke the next day, a message was broadcast worldwide in perfect English. "We come in peace. We wish to meet." The aliens, calling themselves the Zorax, chose a small team of human representatives for the first face-to-face meeting. Dr. Emily Chen, a renowned linguist, was among them. She stood nervously at the edge of Central Park, her heart racing as a beam of light shot down from the ship. 3 Zorax appeared before them. They were tall, slender beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. Their eyes were large and dark, set in elongated faces that held an expression of calm curiosity. "Welcome to Earth," Dr. Chen said, her voice steady despite her nerves. The lead Zorax bowed slightly. "We are honored to make your acquaintance," it replied, its voice melodious and soothing. Over the next few days, humans and Zorax began to learn about each other. The aliens shared glimpses of their advanced technology, curing several human diseases with a simple touch of their devices. In return, humans introduced them to art, music, and the rich tapestry of Earth's cultures. But as the initial excitement wore off, Dr. Chen noticed something odd. The Zorax always seemed to look slightly away when speaking to humans. They would focus on a person's forehead or chin, but never make direct eye contact. At first, she dismissed it as a cultural difference, but as the days passed, the behavior became more pronounced. During a tour of the Louvre, she saw a Zorax flinch when a young boy looked up at it with wide, curious eyes. Whispers began to spread among the human delegations. Something about human eyes made the aliens uncomfortable, but what could it be? The Zorax remained friendly and open in all other aspects. They eagerly shared knowledge about the universe, discussed philosophy, and even enjoyed human cuisine. Yet this one quirk persisted, a mystery that nagged at Dr. Chen's scientific mind. As the first week of the alien visit drew to a close, world leaders prepared for a grand diplomatic ceremony. It was to be a celebration of new friendships and the dawn of an interstellar age for humanity. The event was held in the United Nations General Assembly Hall. Flags of all nations lined the walls, with the newly created Earth flag prominently displayed beside the Zorax banner. Dr. Chen sat in the front row, watching as human and alien leaders took turns speaking of hope, unity, and a bright future. The Zorax High Counselor stepped up to the podium, its shimmering form captivating the audience. "We are grateful for the warmth with which you have welcomed us," the alien began, its gaze sweeping across the room, but never quite meeting anyone's eyes. As the counselor spoke, Dr. Chen noticed the Secretary General leaning forward, listening intently. Without warning, he stood up and extended his hand to the alien in a gesture of friendship. What happened next would change the course of human-alien relations forever. The Secretary General, caught up in the moment, looked directly into the Zorax counselor's eyes. For a split second, their gazes locked. The alien's reaction was immediate and terrifying. It recoiled violently, letting out a high-pitched shriek that made everyone in the room cover their ears. Before anyone could react, the counselor vanished in a flash of light, teleported back to the safety of its ship. Chaos erupted in the assembly hall. The remaining Zorax huddled together, their shimmering skin now dull with what looked like fear. Humans rushed about in confusion, shouting questions that no one could answer. Dr. Chen stood frozen in her spot, her mind racing. In that moment of eye contact, she had seen something in the alien's face, a mix of terror and vulnerability that she couldn't explain. As alarms blared and security personnel flooded the room, one thought echoed in her mind. What power did human eyes hold that could frighten such an advanced species? The day that had started with hope for a new era of interstellar friendship now ended in uncertainty and fear. The shocking truth about why aliens feared human eyes was yet to be uncovered, but one thing was clear: the relationship between humans and Zorax would never be the same again. In the days following the incident at the United Nations, tension filled the air. The Zorax ship remained hovering above New York, but all direct meetings were put on hold. World leaders huddled in emergency sessions, trying to understand what had gone wrong. Dr. Emily Chen found herself at the center of a storm. As one of the few humans who had spent significant time with the aliens, she was bombarded with questions from all sides. But she had no answers, only more questions of her own. Despite the setback, neither humans nor Zorax were ready to give up on their newfound relationship. Slowly, cautiously, communication resumed. This time, it was mostly through video calls and written messages. The aliens seemed more at ease this way, without the risk of accidental eye contact. A new phase of cultural exchange began. The Zorax shared videos of their home world, a planet of shimmering crystal cities and swirling, colorful skies. In return, humans sent a carefully curated selection of Earth's art, literature, and music. Dr. Chen noticed how the aliens were particularly fascinated by human creativity. They marveled at the variety of Earth's cultures and the depth of human emotions expressed in art. Yet they always seemed to shy away from portraits or any images focusing on human eyes. One day, a young Zorax scientist named Zalin reached out to Dr. Chen. It expressed a desire to learn more about human biology, especially the nervous system. Dr. Chen was thrilled at the opportunity for deeper scientific exchange. Together, they set up a series of virtual lectures. Human doctors explained the intricacies of the human brain, while Zorax scientists shared insights about their own unique biology. But whenever the topic of eyes came up, the aliens would quickly change the subject. Meanwhile, strange rumors began to spread. People who had interacted with the Zorax reported odd experiences. A chef who had cooked for the aliens swore that one had known his secret recipe without being told. A musician claimed that a Zorax had hummed a melody she had composed but never shared. Dr. Chen dismissed these stories as exaggerations born from the excitement of alien contact. Yet a nagging doubt lingered in her mind. Was there a connection between these incidents and the aliens' fear of eye contact? As weeks passed, humans and Zorax grew more comfortable with each other, as long as they maintained their unspoken rule about eyes. Trade agreements were drafted, and plans were made for scientific collaborations. It seemed that the initial hiccup had been overcome. But Dr. Chen couldn't shake off her curiosity. During one of her video calls with Zalin, she decided to broach the subject directly. "Zalin," she said carefully, "I hope you don't mind me asking, but why do your people avoid looking into our eyes?" The alien was silent for a long moment. When it spoke, its voice was low and hesitant. "It is uncomfortable for us. Your eyes are unlike any we have encountered in our travels." Dr. Chen leaned forward, intrigued. "How so?" Zalin seemed to choose its words carefully. "They hold a power we do not understand. It is best we do not discuss this further." Before Dr. Chen could press for more information, Zalin ended the call. She sat back, her mind whirling with new questions. What power could human eyes possibly hold over such an advanced species? Her pondering was interrupted by an urgent message. The president was calling an emergency meeting with the alien contact team. Dr. Chen rushed to the White House, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. In the Oval Office, she found a group of grim-faced officials surrounding the president. "Dr. Chen," the president said, her voice tense, "we've received a message from the Zorax High Council. They're demanding that all future interactions between our species be conducted with humans wearing blindfolds." A shocked silence fell over the room. Dr. Chen's mind raced, trying to make sense of this bizarre request. What could have prompted such an extreme measure? As the officials around her erupted into heated debate, Dr. Chen stood quietly, a realization dawning. The key to understanding this interstellar relationship lay in the human eye. And somehow, she knew, unlocking this mystery would change everything. The meeting went on late into the night, but no consensus was reached. As Dr. Chen left the White House, she looked up at the alien ship glimmering in the night sky. She made a silent vow to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The future of human-alien relations depended on it. Little did she know, the shocking reason behind the aliens' fear was about to be revealed, and it would shake the foundations of both human and Zorak society. The next morning, Dr. Chen woke up to a world in chaos. News of the Zorak's demand for blindfolds had leaked, and people everywhere were in an uproar. Some saw it as an insult to humanity, while others feared it was the first step towards alien domination. As she made her way to the research facility, Dr. Chen saw protesters in the streets. They carried signs with slogans like, "Keep your eyes open," and "We won't be blinded." It seemed the fragile peace between humans and aliens was on the verge of collapse. At the facility, Dr. Chen found her team in a heated debate. Some argued that they should comply with the Zorak's request to maintain diplomatic relations. Others insisted it was too risky to handicap themselves in the presence of aliens. "Enough," Dr. Chen said firmly, silencing the room. "We need more information before we can make any decisions. I have an idea, but I'll need your help." She outlined her plan: to set up a controlled experiment with willing human and Zorak's volunteers. The goal was to observe what happened during eye contact in a safe scientific setting. As her team scrambled to prepare, Dr. Chen made a call to her alien friend Zalin. To her surprise, the Zoraks agreed to participate, though it sounded nervous. The day of the experiment arrived. In a large, brightly lit room, a human volunteer named Mike sat across from Zalin. They were separated by a transparent barrier with a small sliding panel at eye level. Dr. Chen's voice came over the speaker. "We're going to open the panel for 10 seconds. Mike, please look directly into Zalin's eyes. Zalin, try to maintain eye contact if you can. Remember, you can both end the experiment at any time." The panel slid open. Mike's eyes met Zalin's large, dark orbs. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, Mike gasped. I can see," he stammered. "I can see memories. Thoughts. They're not mine." Zalin let out a distressed sound and quickly covered its eyes. The panel slammed shut. Dr. Chen rushed into the room. "Mike, what did you see?" Mike looked dazed. "I saw a crystal city. I felt the joy of flying. I knew things about Zorak's history and science that I couldn't possibly know." On the other side of the barrier, Zalin was trembling. "It goes both ways," it said softly. "I saw the human's memories too. His childhood, his fears, his dreams. It was overwhelming." Dr. Chen's mind raced. Could it be true? Did human eyes somehow enable a two-way transfer of thoughts and memories? Before she could ponder further, alarms blared throughout the facility. On the monitors, she saw the Zorak ship powering up its engines. "They're leaving," someone shouted. Dr. Chen ran to the communication room. On the main screen, the face of the Zorak's High Counselor appeared. Its expression was one of fear and determination. "We warned you about the eyes," the counselor said. "Now you know why. Your species is not ready for this power. For the safety of both our peoples, we must leave." "Wait," Dr. Chen cried. "We can work this out. We didn't know." But the counselor shook its head. "The risk is too great. If humans learn to control this ability, you could steal the knowledge of entire civilizations. You could rob people of their most private thoughts and memories. We cannot allow that." The screen went dark. Outside, the massive alien ship began to rise. In that moment, Dr. Chen understood the full weight of what had happened. Humans, without even knowing it, possessed a terrifying power. They could peer into the very minds of the Zorax, and possibly other alien species too. As she watched the ship disappear into the clouds, Dr. Chen felt a mix of awe and sadness. Humanity had gained incredible knowledge, but at the cost of their first alien friendship. The incident in the United Nations made sense now. The Secretary General's accidental eye contact had inadvertently invaded the Zorax counselor's mind, causing panic. As reporters clamored outside the facility for answers, Dr. Chen knew that everything would change. Humanity would never look at itself, or the universe, the same way again. The shocking reason aliens feared human eyes had been revealed. But this was just the beginning. How would humanity handle this newfound power? And what other secrets did the universe hold about the hidden abilities of different species? Dr. Chen took a deep breath. She had work to do. The world needed answers, and she was determined to find them. In the weeks following the Zorax departure, Earth was in turmoil. The revelation of humanity's hidden ability spread like wildfire, causing both excitement and fear across the globe. Dr. Chen found herself at the center of a worldwide debate about the implications of this new power. Governments scrambled to understand and control the situation. Some countries wanted to develop this ability as a new form of intelligence gathering. Others feared it could lead to the invasion of privacy on a massive scale. Ethicists argued about the moral implications of being able to read minds through eye contact. Dr. Chen worked tirelessly with her team to understand more about this phenomenon. They called it ocular telepathy, the ability to exchange thoughts and memories through eye contact. But many questions remained unanswered. One sunny morning, as Dr. Chen was reviewing data in her lab, she received an unexpected visitor. It was Mike, the volunteer from the experiment with Zalin. "Dr. Chen," he said, his voice shaking, "something strange is happening to me." Concerned, Dr. Chen asked him to explain. Mike took a deep breath and began to share his experience. Since the experiment, Mike had noticed changes. At first, it was small things, knowing what song would play next on the radio, or guessing correctly what his friend was about to say. But as days passed, the effects grew stronger. Yesterday, Mike said, his eyes wide, "I looked at a stranger on the bus, and suddenly I knew everything about her. Her name, her job, her deepest secrets. It was like the experiment with Zalin, but I didn't even try to do it." Dr. Chen listened intently, her mind racing. Could the contact with the Zorax have awakened or enhanced this ability in Mike? And if so, were other humans developing similar powers? She immediately set up a series of tests for Mike. The results were astonishing. Not only could he consistently read thoughts through eye contact, but he could also project his own thoughts into others' minds. It seemed the ability was growing stronger and more controlled with time and practice. As word of Mike's growing powers spread, more people came forward with similar experiences. A school teacher who could sense her students' emotions. A police officer who could tell when suspects were lying just by looking into their eyes. A nurse who could ease patients' pain with a glance. Dr. Chen and her team worked around the clock, studying these cases and trying to understand the full extent of this new human ability. They discovered that while everyone had the potential for ocular telepathy, some people developed it more strongly than others. But with this knowledge came new problems. Reports started coming in of people abusing this power, criminals using it to manipulate victims, business people stealing trade secrets with a look, governments worried about spies who could extract national secrets with just a glance. The world teetered on the edge of panic. People began wearing sunglasses everywhere, afraid to make eye contact with strangers. Some even called for those with strong ocular telepathy to be isolated from society. In the midst of this chaos, Dr. Chen received a mysterious message. It was from Zalin, the Zorax scientist she had befriended. Despite the Zorax leadership's decision to cut ties with Earth, Zalin had been secretly monitoring the situation. The message was brief but urgent. "The awakening has begun, but danger approaches. Other species know. Prepare yourselves. Dr. Chen's heart raced as she read the message. What did Zalin mean by the awakening? And what danger was coming to Earth? She knew she had to act fast. Humanity was at a crossroads. This new ability could either unite the world in understanding or tear it apart in fear and mistrust. And now, it seemed, there were other alien species aware of humanity's emerging power. As she looked out her office window at the bustling city below, Dr. Chen made a decision. She would bring together the most powerful telepaths they had discovered, including Mike. It was time to form a team to help humanity navigate this new reality and prepare for whatever was coming from the stars. The next phase of human evolution had begun, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Dr. Chen just hoped they could be ready in time for what lay ahead. Dr. Chen's team of telepaths, which she named Project Iris, gathered in a secret facility outside of Washington, D.C. The group included Mike, the schoolteacher, the police officer, the nurse, and several others who had shown strong abilities. Their goal was to understand and control their powers while preparing for potential alien contact. As they trained, amazing discoveries were made. They learned to shield their thoughts from each other, to send messages across great distances, and even to see through the eyes of animals. But with each new skill came new ethical dilemmas. One day, during a practice session, Mike suddenly collapsed, clutching his head. When he came to, his eyes were wide with fear. "I saw them," he gasped. "Other aliens. They're coming, and they're not friendly." Dr. Chen quickly organized a meeting with world leaders to share this information. As she stood before the United Nations, she could feel the weight of the world on her shoulders. "We have reason to believe Earth will soon face another alien visit," she announced. "But this time, we may not be welcomed as friends. We must prepare." The news sent shockwaves around the globe. Governments rushed to build defenses. People stockpiled food and supplies. The world teetered on the edge of panic. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Chen received another message from Zalin. "The consortium approaches. They fear human potential. Stay strong. Help is coming." Before Dr. Chen could decipher the cryptic message, reports flooded in of a massive ship entering Earth's atmosphere. It was 3 times the size of the Zorax vessel and shaped like a giant metallic squid. As the ship hovered over New York City, a booming voice echoed across the sky. "Humans of Earth, we are the consortium. Your telepathic abilities pose a threat to galactic stability. Surrender now, or face extinction." Panic erupted worldwide. But Dr. Chen and her team knew they had to act. They quickly traveled to New York, setting up a base near the alien ship. "We need to try to communicate with them," Dr. Chen told her team. "If we can make them understand we're not a threat, maybe we can avoid a war." Mike stepped forward. "I'll do it. I'm the strongest telepath. Maybe I can project thoughts into their ship." The team watched nervously as Mike stepped out into the open, looking up at the massive alien vessel. He closed his eyes, concentrating hard. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. A beam of light shot out, engulfing Mike. His body rose into the air, suspended in the beam. "Mike!" Dr. Chen cried out, but it was too late. He had vanished into the ship. Hours passed with no word. The world watched and waited, balanced on a knife's edge between peace and war. Then, just as suddenly as he had vanished, Mike reappeared in the beam of light. As he floated back to Earth, the alien ship began to retreat. Mike landed softly on the ground, a smile on his face. "It's okay," he said. "I showed them our memories, our feelings, our hopes. They understand now. We're not a threat. We're just evolving." As the consortium ship disappeared into the stars, a smaller, familiar vessel took its place. The Zorax had returned. Zalin's voice came over a worldwide broadcast. "People of Earth, we apologize for our hasty departure. We were wrong to fear you. Your ability is not a weapon, but a gift the universe has long been waiting for. Together, we can forge a new era of understanding among all species." Dr. Chen felt tears in her eyes as she listened. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united. As she looked at her team, at the Zorax ship, and at the sky full of stars, Dr. Chen knew this was just the beginning. Humanity's journey to the stars and to a deeper understanding of themselves and others was only just beginning. The eyes that aliens once feared would now be the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. And Dr. Chen couldn't wait to see what they would discover next. In the months that followed, Earth underwent a remarkable transformation. The return of the Zorax, coupled with humanity's newfound telepathic abilities, ushered in an era of unprecedented growth and discovery. Dr. Chen and her team worked closely with Zelen and other Zorax scientists to unlock the full potential of human telepathy. They discovered that the ability wasn't limited to just reading minds through eye contact. With practice, humans could project their thoughts across vast distances, even to other planets. This breakthrough led to the creation of the Interstellar Communication Network, ICN. Using specially trained telepaths, Earth could now communicate instantly with alien civilizations across the galaxy. The exchange of knowledge and ideas accelerated at an astonishing pace. One day, as Dr. Chen was overseeing a telepathic exchange with a distant star system, Mike burst into the room, his face beaming with excitement. "Dr. Chen," he exclaimed, "you won't believe what I just saw in my connection with the Andromedans. They showed me plans for faster-than-light travel." The news spread quickly. With this knowledge, humanity could now reach the stars in person, not just through telepathic communication. The first interstellar ship, aptly named Iris, was built within a year, combining human ingenuity with alien technology. As exciting as these developments were, they also brought new challenges. Some people feared that humanity was changing too fast, losing touch with its roots. Others worried about the potential misuse of telepathic abilities. To address these concerns, Dr. Chen worked with world leaders to establish the Global Ethics Committee for Telepathic Use, GECTU. This organization set guidelines for the responsible use of telepathic abilities and oversaw the training of new telepaths. Meanwhile, Earth's relationship with the galactic community continued to evolve. The consortium, once fearful of human potential, now sought to learn from Earth. Other alien species, intrigued by humans' unique abilities, began visiting Earth in greater numbers. New York City, once the site of the consortium's threatening arrival, was transformed into a bustling hub of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked the streets alongside humans, their thoughts mingling in a vibrant telepathic tapestry. But not all was peaceful in the galaxy. One day, Earth received a distress call from a distant planet. The Zorax colony there was under attack by an unknown force that seemed immune to telepathic communication. Without hesitation, Dr. Chen assembled a team of the strongest human telepaths, including Mike, to join a Zorax rescue mission. It would be humanity's first real test in galactic peacekeeping. As they approached the planet in the Iris, Dr. Chen felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. They had trained for this, but facing an unknown enemy in the depths of space was daunting. The scene that greeted them was chaos. Strange, crystalline ships swarmed around the Zorax colony, firing energy beams that shattered buildings and ships alike. "We can't read them," Zelen exclaimed, panic in its voice. "Their minds are empty." Mike stepped forward, his face set with determination. "Maybe we can't read them, but we can still fight them." Using their combined telepathic strength, the human team reached out to the debris floating in space. To everyone's amazement, they began to move the fragments with their minds, forming a protective barrier around the colony. The crystalline ships, caught off guard by this unexpected defense, began to retreat. As the last enemy ship disappeared into the cosmos, cheers erupted from both humans and Zorax. Dr. Chen smiled, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. Humanity had taken its first steps as guardians of galactic peace. Their eyes, once feared, were now a beacon of hope for civilizations across the stars. As they began the journey back to Earth, Dr. Chen knew that this was just the beginning. There were more mysteries to unravel, more challenges to face, but with their newfound allies and abilities, she was confident that humanity was ready for whatever the universe had in store. The eyes that once sparked fear now shone with the light of infinite possibilities, and Dr. Chen couldn't wait to see what they would discover next in the vast, telepathic symphony of the cosmos. Years passed, and Earth continued to flourish as a central hub of galactic diplomacy and innovation. Dr. Chen, now older but still driven by curiosity, had become a respected figure across the cosmos. Her work had helped shape the peaceful integration of humanity into the larger galactic community. One crisp autumn morning, as Dr. Chen sipped her coffee in the bustling Interstellar Cafe in New York, she received an urgent message from the Galactic Council. A new threat had emerged, one that challenged the very foundation of their telepathic society. Reports were coming in from across the galaxy of a mysterious force that was somehow blocking telepathic abilities. Entire planets were going silent, cut off from the interstellar communication network. Fear and confusion spread rapidly. Dr. Chen quickly assembled her team, including the ever-reliable Mike, who had become one of the most powerful telepaths in the galaxy. They boarded the advanced starship HFY and set off to investigate. Their journey took them to the edge of known space, where they encountered a massive dark cloud that seemed to absorb both light and thought. As they approached, they felt their telepathic powers weakening. "It's like a void," Mike said, his voice filled with awe and fear. "I can't sense anything beyond it." Suddenly, a ship emerged from the cloud. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, its surface shifting and changing like liquid metal. A voice boomed in their minds, somehow piercing through the telepathic silence. "We are the nullifiers," it said. "We have come to restore balance to the galaxy. Your telepathic powers have spread too far, too fast. It is time for all beings to find their own paths, without the crutch of shared thoughts." Dr. Chen stood on the bridge of the HFY, her mind racing. She realized that this was the ultimate test for humanity and their allies. Could they prove that their telepathic abilities were a force for good, a tool for understanding rather than dependence? She opened a channel to the nullifier ship. "We hear you," she said calmly, "but we disagree. Our telepathic abilities haven't made us weaker. They've helped us understand each other, to grow together. Please, let us show you." To everyone's surprise, the nullifiers agreed to a demonstration. Dr. Chen invited their leaders aboard the HFY into a special chamber designed to amplify telepathic experiences. There, with the help of Mike and the other telepaths, they created a vivid mental projection. They showed the nullifiers the history of Earth's journey from fear to understanding, the countless worlds they've helped, the conflicts they've resolved through empathy and shared experiences. As the display ended, the nullifier leader stood silently for a long moment. Then, slowly, a smile spread across its fluid-like face. "We had not considered this perspective," it said. "Perhaps we were too hasty in our judgment. There is much we could learn from you." Over the next few weeks, Dr. Chen and her team worked with the nullifiers, finding a balance between telepathic communication and personal privacy. They developed new technologies that allowed individuals to control their telepathic output, addressing the nullifiers' concerns about over-reliance on shared thoughts. As news of this peaceful resolution spread, celebrations erupted across the galaxy. The crisis had been averted, and a new era of understanding had begun. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen stood on the balcony of the Galactic Peace Center, looking up at the star-filled sky. Mike joined her, a warm smile on his face. "You know," he said, "when I first discovered my abilities, I was terrified. I thought our eyes would always be something to fear. But now, looking out there, I realize they're our greatest gift." Dr. Chen nodded, feeling the sense of pride and hope. "Our eyes are windows," she said softly, "not just to our souls, but to the entire universe. and were just beginning to see how beautiful it truly is. As they stood there, gazing at the cosmos, both felt a deep sense of connection to each other, to humanity, and to the countless beings across the stars. The journey that began with fear had led to a future brighter than they could have ever imagined. And somewhere out there, new adventures were waiting, ready to be discovered by the eyes that once sparked fear, but now inspired hope across the galaxy.